All right, we'll call to order the work session for May 12th for the Site Plan Review Technical Advisory Committee. We have one item on the agenda, 218 Griffin Road for amended site plan approval. I thought I'd put the other plan up, but I had a typo, so
No problem.
It didn't load, so we'll just have to go off this and we'll hand it out.
That should be okay. So thank you for the intro. Drew Golahowski with Haley Ward. Also with me is Austin Shimming from CCB. CCB is going to be the construction manager for this project. So just a quick overview of what we're proposing. The site is located at 218 Griffin Road. The site is currently occupied by FedEx, who uses this as a distribution facility. It's part of an ongoing effort for security upgrades as well as just performance upgrades. FedEx is looking at doing upgrades throughout the nation. Typical improvements for this include security fencing, security gates, that type of thing. Improved signage, again, just to help with the overall security of the site. One of the other typical improvements they've been proposing is the mobile hydro loading dock, which is that feature down at the bottom right corner of the building. It is what it sounds. It's just a mobile loading dock to help get packages into the shipping trucks. The only permanent site feature related to that is the replacement of asphalt with a concrete pad, just so that dock has something to sit on. Other improvements we are proposing at this time include additional trailer parking spaces, which are those the spaces shown at the far right of our plan. Those will be concrete. And then we also have expanded pavement area down at the bottom right corner of the site. That's just to help with maneuverability for trucks on the site. In addition to those items, we also have various improvements to parking striping, just adding some more ADA spaces and things of that nature. So overall, it's a pretty straightforward project, I think. The improvements are fairly simple. I know some of the members here may be aware that we did submit a minor site plan application for just the mobile loading dock pad, that pad down at the bottom right corner of the building. That element is critical to some of the interior improvements that FedEx is looking to make to the inside of the building. So that is a feature they want to get built sooner rather than later. I have been in contact with Kate regarding the wetland buffers associated with this project. You can see on the updated plan that I passed around, we did add the wetland delineation to that, which wasn't fully shown on the original plan. So that is on there now. You can see along the edge of the existing parking down in the bottom right corner, there are 2 fingers of wetlands there. Those are just man-made ditches, but they were classified as wetlands. So we have gone ahead and shown those along with the city's 100-foot wetland buffer. So I guess as our process will work out, we will still proceed with that minor site plan application for the loading dock, but we will be doing a wetland permit for that as well, just to get that all taken care of. And then the rest of these improvements, we'll be putting together a full site plan application for those, a full stormwater plan, grading, all the other necessary site plan elements. So again, this is pretty bare bones at the moment, but I just want to get this plan in front of this committee just for any opening thoughts you might have so we can get those addressed in our future application.
Thanks, Drew. I'll open it up for questions and comments from the committee.
I just had a question about, it says there's 11 60-foot and 8 28-foot spaces, but I count 15 on the right.
Yeah, we actually had more of those proposed at the start. We actually had them extending further page north. That is a residential zone, our abutter to the north, so we did have to take some of those out to be within that residential zone buffer, so I can make sure that note gets updated.
Okay.
But we did have more parking and such up at the top, which we did remove as part of this plan.
And they can get into all those spaces? Are they backing into those?
We'll make sure to have our turning diagram shown on there, but we might have some dimensioning to take care of, but that's the intent.
Just 2 things from fire on the topic of turning templates. We have a turning template for our tower truck. We just want to make sure we can maintain access all the way around the building, so I can email you that.
Okay.
And then on the 2 gates, are they, I would presume, powered gates?
Override truss gates.
So we would just want a Knox key switch for access on both of those.
Okay. That's included in
It is,
the
cool.
tie metal.
Okay.
package,
Where would you
right?
like me to send that truck turning template?
I can give you my email address.
Thank you.
Eric, are we still having stacking issues on Griffin Road with FedEx leaving in the morning?
Not that I'm aware of, I haven't heard that as a complaint, I mean. Long queues getting out, have you seen them?
Yeah, there used to be 300-foot queues in the morning.
Mhm.
So I'd like to look at that. See if we need to make some adjustments while they're under construction.
You can look at the, do a count out there, see what we got for queuing.
Yeah, see if there's enough time on that signal or if it's warranted to alter the lanes. So there's dual left turn lanes coming out of there in the morning.
That's a state signal too, so, yeah, they'll need, I mean, is there an expansion, are you expecting more traffic with this use? More trailers on here because you're adding more parking? Be good to see some type of traffic memo, what you expect for existing traffic, proposed traffic. And, peak hour counts out at the intersection with Route 33. So we can see what type of queuing is out there and how it would be impacted by the proposed project. Those signals out there interconnected, they're coordinated, so if we have to change the timings for one, then it'll affect the next couple of us away. That would need DOT approval since they maintain those signals.
On the wetland impacts, it looks like they may be stormwater wetlands, but if you're filling them, then what's happening with the stormwater that used to go with them? Are you doing a stormwater design or?
Yep, we'll have that in the future submission.
Just haven't done that yet,
Yeah,
okay.
that's correct.
And then that's a prime wetland, right, in the back?
Yep, we had our
Actually, it's
scientist
not.
prepare a memo for that, so we'll have that
Okay.
included as well.
Just check and see, actually it looks like it might be out of the prime wetland, but just check and see that you're not close to it. But you do have fill in the wetland, so you'll need a state wetland permit.
Yep, we'll be putting that together as well.
You couldn't avoid that impact.
We might be able to. We'll take a closer look at it. This was a first cut through the design, but there's definitely room for some tweaks to be made.
So the minor amendment probably can't be approved until the wetland.
Exactly.
So it might be best just to come to the planning board with everything.
Yeah, we were still considering that. I thought it might still take longer for the full process, so hopefully we could sneak in at
You'll
least.
probably do it as an amended site plan approval, since this probably had a site plan,
It did, yeah.
which wouldn't require a full site plan. I mean, it would just require the relevant sheets, probably drainage.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll look into that too. It's just all about timing, trying to get that taken care of quicker.
All this. I was just saying that they
The
submitted
minor
an
one, yeah.
amendment for that, but that can't be approved until
Till
they get the
a
wetland. So you might as well
I think
just
so.
do everything.
Yeah.
At once. Go to the planning board once for both the wetland and site plan approval. Cause you'd be sitting on that until the planning board approved it.
Probably, I think, did we talk, that does need a wetland approval?
Amendment, yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
The minor amendment? Yeah, okay, yeah, then it makes sense to do it. It does make sense to do it once then.
Sure.
Looks like you're removing some parking spaces there on the south side of the plan.
Yeah, I still need to take a look at the parking requirements. We might need to try to add some more of those somewhere. Because like I mentioned, we did have an additional parking lot at the top of the page, which would have made up for that. So I haven't rechecked the numbers to see if we still have enough or not, but that'll be looked over.
So there's a handicap access on the south side of the building?
Yeah, that's correct.
The interior uses are staying the same?
There'll be some interior fencing where they're making their secured material handling area. So where that mobile loading dock is coming in, there'll be a small interior fencing of their material handling to separate ground freight and air freight.
inside the building,
Yes, sir.
but nothing with the, I don't know, retail or whatever better word for that is, the front office.
No, sir.
So there is a public part of this where people can come in and drop off stuff?
Yes, there is a counter you can drop off packages to.
Where is the entrance into the building?
On the west side, closest to the roundabout
Okay. So then,
For the public.
for the public.
yeah, so then I would think the handicap spaces would need to be
There's
closest
handicap
to
people
that
that
door.
work there too.
Okay.
I guess that was my point.
Yeah.
Right, you're showing 4 handicap spaces for people who work there, and only 1 for the public, because you don't really deal with the public all that often.
There, quite a bit of
amount
the,
people working inside.
yeah, I mean, I don't know the ratio, but quite a bit of the traffic, because it is a drop off, there is quite a bit of, people in and out. And there is one handicap space up front, but, I can get back to,
It's just that the handicap spaces have to be the closest to the access doors.
Mhm.
So, but if you're telling us that all those other 4 parking spaces are there for FedEx employees that are handicapped, then it might be appropriate to leave it the way you have it. Because you only have like 7 spaces there for the public,
The angled spaces?
the angled spaces, right?
Yeah, I can double check that.
You suggest a work session with Concom before full application?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if this goes through any more change in the next month before you submit for wetland permit, you might wanna consider a work session. We could do a site visit. Yeah, that might be worthwhile. I was also gonna say, if you're introducing any more parking spaces here too, we'll wanna see a lot of landscaped islands and that requirement for every 10 spaces, there's a landscaped island between.
Yeah, it'd be helpful if there's an existing conditions. In terms of the parking, just to understand how the parking changed, it'd be nice to see the existing conditions, which I'm sure you'll do when you do the full package.
Yeah.
So those fingers of wetland that are up near the parking spaces, those are basically drainage ways away from the existing parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an old gravel pit. / landfill,
Was it a landfill?
soil landfill. As opposed to trash. Some cars. Minor thing. It's the old Griffin Construction Company here.
One of the ways they got into the Great Rock. That was a good place to leave cars too in the day, I guess.
Grifco.
I had a question for DPW. On ViewWorks, there's these like circular, what appear to be circular easements. I'm not sure what they are, but they're,
But maybe monitoring wells?
yeah.
Would there be monitoring wells out here?
Oh, there might be.
Have you guys seen that on the site?
I haven't seen that, no.
Show it to Zach.
Yeah, pass that ball.
Yeah, so this is
Zach.
right where you're putting the construction trailer parking.
Yeah.
There's one located there.
Yeah, I'll take a closer look into that. I'm not sure what those are.
It wouldn't be for the Griffin well number 1, right? Too far away.
Yeah, no, the well's on the other side of the road. stormwater monitoring wells. Said it was an old landfill, so. It's also in the, probably in the wellhead protection area. I don't know if you picked up on that, but there's a
Oh,
drinking
right.
water well right near this. So it's in that drinking water buffer zone.
Yeah, you might wanna check One Stop, see if there's anything going on with those wells, if there's a groundwater permit or something.
Anything else from anyone? Drew, do you have any other questions at this point?
I'm all set for now, thank you.
It's trying to come next month, or?
I think we can probably shoot for that. We'll see, I'll keep you updated.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.